Alrighty, College Place, welcome back. As you may notice, we are full screen now, so everybody can clap their hands for that. We also got rid of the watermark, and these videos can be a little bit longer, so thank goodness for that. I was getting a little sick and tired of those 15-minute videos, and also panning around just because it was really hard to see. And I could imagine that getting pretty annoying for all you guys. So if you want, if you were having a hard time following along because you weren't seeing the full frame, let Mr. Trope know, and then he'll sort of relay that information back to me, and I can make some more videos based on things you guys might not understand. Just because I really want you guys to go back through and practice as much as you can, because if you guys don't understand this section, then it's going to be really hard to work with the laser. So anything that I can do to help you guys, please let him know, and I'll do my best to get back to you guys with some more help. If not, then congratulations. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Right now, you can see I am on Illustrator. This is the new section. I know previously I talked about coming into the high school and showing you guys the software for the laser, but I also have school, I got a job, so it's a little hard to make time to come into the high school. So for now, I'm just sort of going through both the softwares, Photoshop and Illustrator, to get through as much as possible. And then towards the end, I'm going to see if I can make time to come in there and either talk to you guys or get a new video of me actually at the high school working with the software for the laser. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's go ahead and start by opening Illustrator. I just want to run you guys through the basic formats of it and the basic views, just so you guys understand the layouts before we get started. Just so we don't have to really get started and then go through everything with a blind eye. So go ahead and go to your taskbar or your home screen or wherever you're at. Pause the video and open up Illustrator. It looks like this. It's a little orange box with an AI in it that stands for Adobe Illustrator. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had a little brain fart and I could not remember what this was. So that should be imprinted in your brain because I'm sure I made an absolute meme of myself. But yeah, go ahead and pause the video and open that, and when you are ready, I will see you back here. Alrighty, assuming you have opened Illustrator, you should have something that looks very similar to this. If not, it's probably pretty close to the same thing. We might have different versions. But the format's going to be pretty similar, to Photoshop. You're going to have some recent files right here. Mine are in a list order. You can change to a picture of the last work that you've done by going over to the right here and hitting this little 4-pane window right here. This is some work that I've done previously, so go ahead and ignore that. But I like to keep it in the list just because I can see by the day. It's a little easier for me to read. Also see your sizings and what kind of file it is. Right here, really not much. It's just some different size formats for things that you might be working on. It makes it a little easier for the artist to go and just select something really quickly rather than formatting a size by themselves. And Adobe Illustrator is a lot more user-friendly, so to speak. As you can see, they say welcome to Illustrator right here. Very nice of them to do that. Up here towards the right, you have your what is this? Basically like your account. So it'd be the school account, so I wouldn't even worry about that. We have, as the same as Photoshop, we have our little taskbar up here. We have File, Edit, Object, Type, Select, Effect, View, Window, and Help. I would memorize the layout of that before the next video because we're going to be going up there and looking at some different things. And right down here we have Create a New Document and Open an Old Document. So we're going to go ahead and create something new just for the sake of an example purpose, because I want to run through the layout of what it looks like to actually start working on a file. So if this does not show up for some odd reason, you can either hit Create New with me or hit File and then New, just like we learned in Photoshop. The first thing you're going to be greeted with is some pre-formatted palettes right here. So these are things you can select for different sizes of things that you might want to work on. So, we could even start by just hitting this 10x10 custom, but I just want to run you through everything really quickly. So up here is recent things that I've done. These are some of my presets for files that I've created. We have some saved right here. I have nothing saved right now. I don't usually mess with that. We have mobile, web, and print, and then also film and video. These are different file formats for people creating stuff on different content files. And then the main one that you guys are going to be wanting to focus on is art and illustration, because basically what we're going to do is illustrate something for the laser software. So like Photoshop, we have our title of our document. You can go ahead and title that example and then put it in a folder you might be saving for this video course. We have our sizing parameters here. We got points, picas, I don't even know how to pronounce that, inches, millimeters, centimeters, and pixels, just like in Photoshop. We have our width, height, and orientation, our number of artboards, and then some other printing presets. So you probably won't be able to change this like you do in Photoshop, but you've got color mode, RGB, like we always want to be in. So if that says something different, let me know, and I will give you an example of how to fix that. So let's go ahead and change this to inches if it's not on there already, and we'll just do a quick 5x5 document. You can make yours a different size just to play with it because we're only going to be looking at the layout, but I highly recommend following along with me as much as possible through these videos because then you'll be far less confused. And then you can rewind and see what I've done. So go ahead and hit create. And here we go, the beautiful old Illustrator. Yours probably will not have presets like this sitting out because these are things that I've told it to say basically upon opening. Keep these out here for me because these are going to be my most commonly used. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those just so that we are on the same page here. I honestly don't know why I got two of these. I think this one's more of just an extended version. So yours should be over here like in Photoshop, but go ahead and grab that and bring it out here. If not, you can go to Window, Workspace, and Reset Essentials as always. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. See, yours will pop up just like this. You can grab that and bring it out here. Boom, there we go. Alrighty, so to start off, what we got here is our little taskbar up at the top, like I explained before. You got your file, your editing, your object. These are going to be widely used throughout our thing, so I highly recommend memorizing the layout. I think I already said that, but just to reiterate, right here we have the file that is currently open. You can have multiple of these in this little window right here at a time. This one's going to look a little different than Photoshop would because the stroke and the fill are going to be widely used throughout a lot of objects that we use. And this one's more plainly put for you because as you can see, the stroke is the outline. You can see that the center is not there, which means that it is just the outline. So that's a little easier to understand. And then the fill is right here. Moving on to the right side of the page, after we see our artboard here, we've got properties, and this is basically going to be where you would see all those options in Photoshop. So if I click on the shape tool here, it doesn't show up here, but instead it will give you the options right over here. Moving over, we have layers. I'll explain layers a little bit more in another video, but this is really interesting. There's a lot of different key features in Illustrator's layers than there is in Photoshop. A little harder to use than Photoshop, I'd say, just because it gets a little more confusing if you don't pay attention to it. So I highly recommend playing around with this before you move on to the next video because there's going to be a lot of interesting things to understand. And always, you can go reference different videos if there's something you're really confused on, or let Mr. Trope know and he'll tell me, and I'll try and make some videos to clear some things up. Moving over, we have got libraries. Honestly, don't even pay attention to libraries because we'll just about never use it. Libraries is usually where I keep different color palettes that I've used for different projects. So you can see this is a color swatch for the Warriors, what are they called? I can't even think. Walla Walla Community College Warriors. So this is something I used in a brochure that I created for them. Yeah, so that's about it. Honestly, I can't think of just about anything else. But that's the basic layout that I wanted to show you guys. Play with it around as much as possible. Just go through here and mess around with the tools, mess around with the settings, because when we come back, I just want you to be as familiar as possible so we can just get right into it. Obviously, I'll explain everything in as much detail as possible. But just get familiar with it, play around, no harm can be done there. When you're ready, go ahead and start the next video on Illustrator, and I will see you then.